Hello artists! Today's lesson is going to be about text art. You will need some heavier weight paper. This is paper that is heavier than copy paper. So maybe paper from a sketchbook or from a drawing pad that's got a heavier paper in it. So this is paper. I've cut it up into smaller squares about the size of a postcard. So you'll need heavy paper. You can also use magic markers, so you'll need some magic markers. You will need a plastic bag from your kitchen, like a little snack bag, a water cup, paper towel, probably a pencil, and a Sharpie. Now this is probably one of the most important things, is a Sharpie, and that's because when Sharpies get wet, the color does not spread. So you are going to want to use a Sharpie to outline your letters or your text. Whatever it is that you are wanting to keep perfect, you're going to use a Sharpie for. So let me show you an example of text art. Text art is art that uses words to convey a meaning. When you write your text, you're going to want to make sure that it's centered on the paper and that it's about the same size all the way across. Here's another example. So you'll see in this text art that I've included that watercolor background, and I'm going to teach you how to do that using your magic markers and that Ziploc bag. But look at the letters. They're the same size from the top to the bottom. And one of the ways artists do that is by creating guidelines. So guidelines are lines that artists draw on the paper that are meant to be erased. So you'll see I have a guideline that's keeping my K the right size from the start to the end of it. Just like those lines on the paper from kindergarten and first grade that helped you write your letters, guidelines are things that artists use too to make things look perfect. Now, bubble letters. When I learned how to make bubble letters, I would start with just writing the letter and then drawing lines around the letter. So I have guidelines for the size, and I also have a guideline to make that bubble letter, which is the just regular drawn letter in between. Okay, so after you have your guidelines, you are going to trace your artwork with Sharpie. I have one that I'm going to work with today. It says, "I miss you because I do." So after you have your artwork traced in Sharpie, you are going to go on to the next step, which is the watercolor technique with your magic markers. So I'm going to tilt my camera so you can see what I'm doing on the table. Let's see, do you see it? Yes, you do. Perfect. Okay, so the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to color your baggie with magic markers. I'm actually going to use warm colors, red, orange, yellow, pink, and I am going to start to just color my baggie. This is supposed to look a little bit like tie-dye, so you can overlap your colors a little bit. And you'll notice that the color is staying wet on your bag. It's not like when you color on paper and the color dries right away. This is how we're going to get that watercolor technique on your artwork. So I'm just going to keep on switching colors and overlap them and kind of fill my baggie in with a pretty big square. Okay. Be careful not to touch where you've colored because that will come right off onto your fingers and it will probably stay there for a little while, even though it's washable. Alright, so I have a square colored. Let me go over that a little bit more with a different color. So now I have my baggie colored. And I am ready for the next part, which is to get this color onto this piece of artwork. And this is how you do it. You are going to get your water cup and your paper towel. I'm going to fold it so it's kind of small, and I'm going to dip it in my water. I'm going to make sure it's not dripping, but you want it very wet. And then you're going to spread the water on the surface of your drawing and make sure that it is pretty wet. Then you're going to take your baggie and your drawing, you're going to flip it over, put it face down onto the magic marker that's on your baggie. Good, I'm going to smooth it out. Okay, and now, hopefully when I peel it up, I've got my watercolor effect on my piece of artwork. Well, that looks really great. So I'm going to put it down. I'm going to take my wet paper towel and kind of go over it one more time just to make sure all of the colors are spread. And now I have my text art with my watercolor background. Here I am again. Alright, boys and girls, so you saw that. You're going to start with guidelines to make sure your letters are nice and straight. You're going to use guidelines to make your bubble letters if you need to. Outline it with Sharpie. Color your baggie. Wet your paper. Put it face down. Peel it up. And you've got a beautiful watercolor text art to share with me on Artsonia. Alright, this is an experiment. It might not look good the first time around, and you'll have to learn how much water to use. But have fun with this. Don't make a mess. If you do make a mess, make sure you clean it up. And I will see you next time. Bye!